We are live. Come in, come in, come in, come in. I am freezing right now. Welcome. Let's chat about money. Hold on, let me get my slippers on so my feet don't freeze off. Welcome in. Hey, hey. This is incredibly impromptu, absolutely not planned, but topic of conversation on my mind, money. Who wants to talk about money? Raise your hand. I want to talk about money because here's what I had this realization today, watching one of my mentors' lives and content about money. And I had this realization that my story about money has changed so much since before I knew about money. Raise your hand if you were told all your life that money was evil. People who had money were greedy. People who had money were evil. Money makes people do bad things. Money doesn't grow on trees. If you were constantly told you can't afford things, raise your hand if you were told even one of those things as a kid. Even one of those things as a kid. And I am raising my hand for all, however many I said, 5 or 6 money stories. Because I'm curious how deeply ingrained our money story is. And I want to know this because depending on how deeply ingrained it is, will depend on the work that you have to do in order for you to be open to receive it. Trails to Wealth says yes, which by the way, I love your username. Who else was told any of those things? Or maybe something different. What were you told as a kid? Or what was modeled for you as a kid around money? What did you hear? What did you see? Right? We were always told that the people who spent their money were bad, that people who made a lot of money were greedy. And I want you to know this one thing. I want you to know that the way that you think about money right now is not your fault. The way that you think about money right now is not your fault. And I also want you to know that the way that you think about money has probably created a ceiling for you on how much you were able to earn. Becoming the matriarch says it's the root of all evil. Were you told that? Or shown that? Or that was modeled for you? Right? Money is the root of all evil. It's not your fault. Okay? And here's how we get to change it. Who wants to change the way that we are able to receive money? Who wants to change the amount of money that we can make? And I want you to hear me so very loudly right now. Making more money does not mean that you are greedy. Wanting more money does not mean that you are greedy. Once you understand that money is simply an exchange of energy, and that the world is your playground, then you will be okay with creating this openness so that you can receive more. Now, if you are a bad person and you want more money, Jaxie Girl says, spend it as soon as possible before it's taken away. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this hoarding theory, that was huge in my life. We have to hoard our money. We have to hold on to it. We can't give it away. We can't be generous. We have to hold on to it because we never know if we're going to get any more. We can't make an investment because that's so scary. I have to research this investment for 2 years before I spend my money on it because I worked so hard for this money. I think that is one thing, and I don't know how old you guys are. I'm 40, and I think there's a lot of this that gets passed down in our lifetime, and that comment was such a good comment because it makes us realize how deeply ingrained the money story is. Now, if we think about this, our parents, or depending on how young you are, our parents' may have lived through the Depression. And in the Depression, now I wasn't there, and we didn't have media, and historical facts, I don't know what is 100% truth, but what we've been told about the Depression is that there was a lot of struggle, right? There wasn't a lot of food, there wasn't a lot of money, it was hard times. And my dad came from a family of 6, and so, we constantly hear stories or heard stories from him and his siblings about they all slept in bedrooms together. Nobody had their own bedroom. They couldn't leave the table unless all their food was gone. If they didn't eat their food fast enough, then one of the other siblings or a parent was going to eat it. So everything that they were shown and told in their life was this hoarding mentality. And that trickles into the way that we make money or don't make money, the way that we live, and the things that we pass down to our family. So who wants to change that circumstance? Who wants to change the way that you make money, the amount of money that you can make? Who wants to change the way that money feels, the way that money looks, what money gets to mean about you or not? And your possibilities with money. Because once you can change the way you feel about money and you choose to look at money in a different way, then you open up and become a limitless container for making more money. And making more money is not a bad thing. Once you understand that money just is energy, it's an exchange. You're exchanging this for that. And when you understand that when you want to create a life that you love, and that requires money, then you get to be okay with making more money. You want this life, you need to make more money to get there, you go out and you make more money to get there. And it doesn't mean anything bad about you. Okay? So I have this, this all starts with this one practice that I'm going to share it with you. I share this with my masterminders. I share this with my clients and my students, and it's how we spend money. So if you go about your day, let's say you wake up and the first thing you think about is like, I would really like to go get a coffee, but I can't get a coffee because I can't spend any money, right? So the first thought in your mind is something about money. We're going to change that. We do this little thing with how we spend money. Now, obviously, I'm going to preface this by saying you have to be responsible with what you have. But hoarding it and holding on to it and not spending it because you're afraid it will never come back is not what I'm talking about. Okay, so we have to release, we get to release this feeling that if we spend it, it will never come back. And the way that we do that is every time we spend money, we spend it in a way that we are grateful for spending the money. Now, I know this sounds ridiculous to a lot of you, but right now what you're coming from is this pattern that's been passed down to us. Thank you. Because what happens is these stories are 7 years deep. Sorry, not 7 years, 7 generations deep. So if any of your parents, grandparents lived through the Depression, that passed down to your parents and then it passed down to you because it's 7 generations deep. So we get to work at unraveling that so that we don't pass it down to the next generation. And so that we can live our lives the way that we desire to live our lives and make a butt ton of money because it's okay. In fact, you are deserving of making more money. Did you know that? You are deserving of making more money. You were born to be wealthy. And the world told you no. You were born to be wealthy and the world told you no. So let's change that. Every time you go to spend money, and I am talking about down to every little tiny cent, you're going to change the way you see the transaction. Say you're going to go put gas in your car. You put $40 of gas in your car. Now, I remember when we were crying about gas being like $4.50, right? $4.50 a gallon, and filling my Jeep, which has a small tank, was like $50-something. And I could have gone to the gas station and every time filled my gas tank been like, oh my God, this is so much money. I can't believe I have to spend this much money on gas. But instead, here's how we shift it. We put our card in, we say, I am so grateful that I am able to put gas in my car so that I can go do the things that I need to do. So I can go drop my kids off at gymnastics. So I can go, I don't know, wherever you're going. So I can go grocery shopping. When you go to the grocery store, it's going to be the same thing. Instead of like standing at the counter and be like, oh my God, how much is this going to add up to be? I don't know how much money I have. If I spend this much money here, that means I can't spend anywhere else. No, we're going to change that. And we are grateful for every single transaction that we get to make because the gratitude, this one little trick was taught to me a while ago. It's unicorn money. And our dollars, our money in our bank account is alive. It has feelings, okay? That's where we're at here. And when we spend it, this little unicorn goes out. And depending on how you spend it, the unicorn's going to go tell its other unicorn friends about the experience that it just had with you. So if you take care of your money, you talk to it nicely. You are grateful for it. You're grateful every time that you spend it. You have places, you have a job for your money. Every time your money comes in, you have a job for it. It has a job. It has a place to go. If your money just comes into your bank account, if your money comes into your bank account on payday and you don't have a job for your money, it kind of just sits in your bank account, but then all of a sudden you find yourself with $0 and you still have 2 days until payday. It's because you didn't give your money a job. You've got to give your money a job. When you give your money a job, you respect your money and you speak to it with gratitude. And what it does when you do that is it goes and tells its unicorn friends, hey, Gwen's really good with her money. She treats me so well. She's so grateful for me. When she spends, she knows that it's going to come right back, right? She gives me a job. She puts me in compartments. We have, she combs my hair. She brushes my hair. She paints my hair. Like, I love living with Gwen. So this is how we imagine we spend our money when we spend our money. And this little unicorn money goes out and tells all her unicorn friends. And then her unicorn friends are like, well, I want to come back to Gwen's bank account. I want to live there. I want to be there. That feels like a really good space to be, right? Versus, here's the opposite situation, versus you go into the gas station, putting gas in your car, like hemming and hawing over how much it's going to be. You're afraid that if you spend this money here, it's not going to come back. You're afraid of investing because you're afraid you're going to lose it all. You're afraid of taking chances because you don't know if it's going to come back to you. When you have that kind of energy around your money, here's what I picture. I picture like this haggard unicorn. Literally, the color is drained from its body. The hair is all matted. No one's been taking care of it. You haven't been taking care of it. It gets spent, so it goes out into the world, and it tells its friends, it's like, you guys don't want to be in Gwen's bank account. It's not fun over there. We're not having a good time. Nobody comes in. I'm always all alone. I don't have any job. I just sit there. No one pays attention to me. No one's grateful for me. And then the money doesn't come. And I know that this sounds crazy. If you have never done this before, I know. But trust me, listen, I had to change the story I was telling myself about money in order for my capacity to open up to be able to make more. If you have been saying something like, I've been trying for years to make more money, but just can't seem to make more than X amount of money, it's because you've created your own ceiling. So we have to practice what it feels like. We have to practice what it feels like to be abundant. So if you could imagine right now what it would feel like to make 10 grand more than you're making a year, I am imagining for you that it would probably feel, you'd feel happy, you'd feel joyful, you'd feel a little bit stress-free, or maybe a lot stress-free, right? Can you imagine what that feeling would feel like? Now, if you're driving, don't do this, but if you could close your eyes and picture the feeling and actually feel it in your body, that means you can create that feeling whenever you want to. And here's what I know about the choice to feel. We can choose our emotions. We can choose our feelings at any point in the day. So you get to practice what it feels like to make the money that you want to make. If you want to make $10,000 more, well, what would it feel like to make $10,000 more? And now you practice being in that feeling every single day. And I'm not kidding you. This does not have to be complicated. All it takes for you is 5 minutes. You can do this with your cup of coffee in the morning. It's okay if you've got kids and you get interrupted. It's fine. Waylon Dunn says, all I want from having money is to be able to spend on little things without stress. Amen. Like most of us do, right? Most of us want to just stop stressing about money, but the story that we tell ourselves creates stress with money. So all we have to do is change the story. And we change the story by changing the feeling. And if we practice every day feeling the feeling of what it would feel like to have more money, then we create this new neural pathway that allows our body to be in that emotion faster and faster every single day. And the faster that we can become aligned with the feeling that comes with making more money, the faster we create that feeling every single day, the faster we become an energetic magnet to making more money. So I will say it again, if you've been stuck making a certain amount of money for a certain amount of time, like in my field when I was working as a doctor of audiology, I felt like I was stuck at this $80,000 yearly salary. I was like, I just feel like I can't get past this $80,000 salary. I don't know why. I can't, it doesn't seem like I can get a raise. I get 50 cents here. Like, there was a story that I was telling about $80,000. And it's because I didn't know how to be if I made more. And I was limiting myself. So your takeaway from this whole thing, if you are someone who is here who has been told stories about money that have affected how you feel about money now, and maybe you didn't even realize it, I want you to think about the stories that you've been told. I want you to think about the examples that have been given to you. Because whether your parents said it or not, there's some sort of belief that they have about money that is now ingrained in you. And you get to choose, I want that belief or I don't want that belief. And if you don't want that belief, then you change the feeling that you have about money, and that is just by practicing what that feels like every single day. Isn't that silly? Money is just a tool to buy your time back. Yeah. If you're a bad person, then you'll be still a bad person with more money. But if you're a good person, then you'll be a good person with money. Money is not evil. It doesn't mean you're greedy because you want it. You just want to live the life that you want to live. And in this world that we live in, we need money as an exchange for those things. So congratulations, you just unlocked an entire world for yourself of creating more money. And I cannot promise you that tomorrow things will change, but I can promise you that if you start paying attention to how you spend and how you feel when you spend, you practice opening your bank account and just being grateful for whatever is in there. 4 cents, grateful there's 4 cents in there. Don't you dare walk by a penny on the sidewalk and not pick it up. Don't you dare. I don't care if that's just 1 cent. That 1 cent is more abundance. If you do not pick that cent up, you are telling the world, you are telling the universe, cool, I asked for $10,000 and you give me a cent. And they're like, yeah, this is practice, yo. Pick it up. Be grateful that the 1 cent showed up in your life. And if you're grateful for that 1 cent, I'll show you where to find more of that. Right? It starts with a trickle. It starts with daily practice. So here's what you get to do every single day. Ready? We're going to recap. Every single day, you're going to sit down with your cup of coffee or your cup of tea or any time in your day and take 5 minutes and close your eyes. Imagine what it would feel like to make more money. Imagine what it would feel like to open up your bank account and see what it is that you desire. Imagine what it would feel like to use the money for what you want to use it for. Maybe you want to buy an RV and travel the world with your kids. Well, close your eyes and imagine what that would feel like. The more you feel that feeling, which is going to be a positive feeling, by the way, it's going to be a gratitude, happiness, joy. The more you change your overall frequency of your body, the more you become an energetic match for it to come and find you. Okay, so you take your little unicorn money. You want it to tell all the other unicorns how good it is in your wallet, how good it is in your bank account, how good it is in your life, so that all the unicorn friends will come back to you because they want to hang out with you. And anytime they leave, they're going to come back because it's so good at Gwen's house. Okay? Make me a promise. Drop me a unicorn if that is something that you are willing to try. Backwoods Well says, if you don't pick up a penny, then you wouldn't save anything. It's not the amount, it's the thought, it's the process. You can't say no to a penny and expect $10,000 in your bank account. Speaking of yesterday, I imagined the winning Powerball numbers and I wrote them down. And then I forgot to play. And so I'm going to go check them and see where I was, which is somewhat frightening. Maybe I'll just play again. Who knows? Anyway, I see all the unicorns. I think this is so beautiful. If you guys have questions about how this works, if you try this and in a week you feel energetically different, will you come back and let me know? I've had people do my money mindset training inside of my free community called Wealthy Her. And 2 people consistently come back to me and they say, Gwen, I spent 20 minutes doing the money mindset training and I kid you not, this is what happened to me today. And they tell me about some sort of story where they got more money. And again, you have to, not have to, I hate that. I don't want to tell you what to do. I'm going to suggest that if that happens for you, promise me that you'll see 1 cent showing up at your feet at the gas station and you'll pick it up just the same as you would if it was $10,000. And you'll create a new energy pathway in your body. Every time I recycle my cans, I save it away for a rainy day. Put it in a jar just as I did since I was 12. Yeah. Okay? I love you guys. I hope this was helpful. I'll catch you guys later.